in Author's Corner, we go to Walter Hoge, who is in our virtual green room. And I'll tell you what, he's written a book that makes me just want to hang out with him for like a week, because it's, first of all, beautiful where he is, but what he's written is incredible. And it's McEaster Valley is the name of the book. And Walter, thanks so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's talk about why you wrote this book. What was it that, 5 kids, beautiful area. What was it that inspired you to write the book?
Well, what inspired me to write the book is my wife passed away from cancer, and I had a friend of mine who had his wife also passed away. He said, Rich, he said, when your wife passes, you're going to have things happen to your mind that you won't believe would happen. And I was kind of going along, and you have all these thoughts, and I won't say out-of-body experiences, but they definitely were, you may almost call them spiritual, because your mind just goes through all these things in your life. And one day I kind of felt like, I think Forrest Gump, when he had a lot of things on his mind, and one day he just started running. They asked him why, he didn't know, he started. And I just sat down and started writing this book. I had all these thoughts about things that were important to me, how wonderful of a life I'd had. I used to sit down with my kids, lay down with my kids at night trying to get them to go to sleep, and I would tell them stories about McEaster Valley. And I'd start out saying, a long, long, long time ago in a far, far, far away land, and I was hopefully they'd fall asleep, but they wouldn't. And it seemed like when I was telling stories that the ones they liked the best were about McEaster Valley. And so I would make up these stories, but really, I think what I was doing was really talking about how fortunate I have been in my life, being able to sink roots in my own practice for over 40, almost 50 years now, knowing clients for years, just having a wonderful life of enjoying animals. And also I had a loving family that I enjoyed. I've just been really grateful for what has gone through my life. And I think that I just started writing, and I put it together on 8.5 by 11 paper. And I sent it to my kids for Easter, and I don't think anybody read it. They might have read it, I don't know. But anyway, I remarried, and my wife and her mother were riding in a car with me. We're driving actually on Memorial Day, and they read that. And her mother said, you need to write this book. And she hounded me. And so finally I got down and did write the book. And I guess I'm thankful for her that I did. It's been a great experience trying to learn how to write a book. I've written papers before of scientific area, but not this type of a book. And I just let my imagination flow. And it was, and like you say, I really think I was really writing about my life and how happy I've been.
And it's interesting because when you and I talked about your childhood, I love this childhood. You grew up just understanding, appreciating animals, frogs. I mean, and it was your mother who instilled that love, I think, of the land in you and appreciating nature. Am I right about that?
Yes, my mother, she was actually raised on a ranch in a place called Pingree, Idaho, and right across the right by the Snake River, and right across the Snake River was the Indian reservation. And Mom used to always tell me all these stories about taking care of the cattle and all these type of things. And as I was growing up, I got to go and stay at her ranch with her brother, Uncle Bud was his name. And he taught me how to milk cows by hand. And we went out and went fishing. And I spent a lot of time in the Blue Hole, and I had a creek that went into the Blue Hole where I went fishing, and just had wonderful experiences. I know when I was a young child, I used to go out on the ditch bank and catch fish and frogs. I had very bad allergies at that time, and my eyes would swell up, and I would go in the house and take a washcloth with cool water and put it on my eyes until they got open again. I'd go right back out again. And one thing that really influenced me, I think, and got me really thinking about it, was one day my mom and dad, when they built their home, they actually had to dig dirt out from the side of the house, away from the house for the foundation. And when we irrigated, that would always fill up with water. And one time I found these two little, they call them mud puppies, and they're little salamanders that they never mature on land, but they always live in the water. And these little mud dogs just fascinated me, that they had gills, and yet they had 4 feet, and they were like frogs, but they never developed into mature frogs. They stayed kind of like tadpoles. And I actually had a little zoo. I raised had a pig named Miss Royal Charm the Fourth that she was part of my 4-H FFA project. She raised little piglets for me. I had a cow that we took on the range with my Uncle Bud, and every summer, and she'd come back with a calf. And so I had just a lot of those experiences. I always wanted to be involved with animals. So go down the river bottoms, and we'd go down there and just enjoy it. And so fortunately, I was able to go into a career which was just basically just who I am. I just have really enjoyed that. And so, yes, but my mother, she was the one. She had a happy, smiley face all the time, and she, I think, gave some of that to me.
Yeah, so you go into a career you really wanted. You're becoming a vet, and a vet who didn't want to take vacations. Didn't they have to force you to take vacations?
Well, yeah, I think I mentioned to you when I first started working, it was so exciting to see things that I'd learned in school and actually in practice. I'd see something and kind of discover it and say, man, that's really cool. I just was having so much fun that I didn't really want to not be there. And finally, the boss said, you've got to take some vacation time. You need to get away from here some. I said, well, I'm just really, this is a holiday every day. But anyway, I've always enjoyed, we all have downs and ups, and we have situations that are of a concern, but it seems like every day when I leave from work, I've had a good day, and I've been able to feel like I've at least had a little bit of a positive influence maybe on some of my clients I've known for years.
So it's interesting, Walter. I was thinking about this before we jumped into this interview. How many animals do you think, as a veterinarian, you treated, helped, etc.? I'm going to call them, they were your patients. How many animals do you think?
Well, I don't know. I've had all different kinds of animals. I had a wallaby once, and I guess I can tell you about that. A client of mine, she got this wallaby from Nevada, which was illegal to have in California. And she came in one day, and she had dogs I took care of. And she said, I want you to help me take care of my wallaby I got. And she gave me a book. And I said, okay, that sounds like fun. And we took care of the wallaby. And one day she came in and she says, Dr. Hoge, she says, you've got to put Chico down. I said, why would you do that? I said, well, he attacked my husband the other day, and he kind of went into parts of his body like he was more in love with me than maybe my husband was. And so she brought Chico in, and we neutered Chico, and he stayed at the clinic for a while. And eventually I got involved with an FFA group where he stayed there for a while, and then he was retired up in Northern California. But 2 years later, the client came in and she said, he's Dr. Hoge. She said, I think we neutered the wrong one. I just divorced my husband. So anyway, I have things like that have happened over the years. I mean, I've had wild animals brought in. I had one of my technicians had a goat that was plugged up and couldn't do some things needed to. We did surgery on in the clinic and things like this. And so wild pigs have come in that have been injured and a few things like that. And we used to be able to do that. So those are, we've had a lot of that go on, as well as just regular veterinary medicine.
Yeah. So when people read your book, McEaster Valley, what do you hope they take away from it?
Well, I think that what I really tried to show is that I tried to show what my feelings were for the best of people and the best of life, and doing things for the best of causes. And I think also doing that and respecting the environment, because it provides for us, and there's so many things we can do without damaging it. And I think that's really the basic theme of it. And also, I put some things in there trying to influence children and maybe people that read it to look into things, that things on the earth like, what's like radium and, and things like, I have things about chickens and a few things like that. But there's so many different things that you can, that I try to stimulate them to maybe pursue those things and kind of learn more about them.
Oh, so smart. And you do learn when you go through your book, you do learn. I love the illustrations. Who did the illustrations?
I don't remember who did the illustrations, but I had that done for me. I had a lot of influence in it. What they would do is they'd do drawings. I'd say, well, in my mind, I really pictured this a little bit differently. Like, for example, there's a great big banana slug in the trail. And I had that in my mind, and we had to talk about that a little bit. And there's some big prints in the book that didn't look like prints I wanted them to look like of an animal, and things like that, their illustrations really, I think, brought out to me what I was trying to talk about and write about.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Did you have fun writing it?
I really did. I mean, I got onto it, and like you say, it was written really fairly fast because I had all these things flowing through my mind. And so that was a fairly fast structure. The long structure was trying to, really get it published, and written. That was a real learning experience for me.
Oh, yeah, that's for anybody who does a book. For all the people listening, they know. Well, congratulations on that, because we've talked about that before. McEaster Valley is fabulous. Walter, thank you so much for coming on. Walter Hoge, you can get his book right there on Amazon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your bubbliness and ease of being able to visit with. Thank you. You have a great day in your neighborhood. I'm going to have in mine.
Thank you.